Morning. Currently driving through West Virginia into Virginia to do a delivery. Kind of nice out here. Take a look. Anyway, I'm doing this video because there's a lot of talk out there about how people say you can't make money at Super E. Can't make money at Super E. Actually, they say I can, but I can't say I can because I can't. But you can't make money at Super E. So I want to put this on. I really want to talk about that. I've done a couple other videos and I've done it based on lease purchase in general, using Super as an Eagle as a reference because I work with Super Eagle. I don't work for Super Eagle. I work with Super Eagle, and I'll explain the difference. There's a bunch of videos that people have posted about not being able to make money at Super Eagle, about how Super Eagle is a scam, about how Super Eagle is just going to rip you off, etc., etc., etc. Super Eagle, I don't know the exact numbers, but who knows? Super Eagle has about 4,000 trucks on the road. 4,000. A day doesn't go by and I don't see Super Eagle trucks. For the smart Alex out there, I'm not talking about that. I took a break at a pilot this morning. There was a Super Eagle truck there. I just now stopped at Love's to grab coffee. Super Eagle truck there at the gas pump. I see Super Eagle trucks everywhere. So the number is supposedly somewhere around 4,000 trucks. You've got how many videos on YouTube? 20, 50, 100 of people that are saying that you can't make money with Super Eagle. Now people can make the argument that not everybody makes a video. So let's say what, 1 in 5, 1 in 10 make a video. That still leaves another 3,000 out there that are not making videos. Now, there's an old saying, actually there's a few of them. Empty barrel makes the most noise. The squeaky wheel is what gets the grease. The hell that sticks out as the money gets hammered. So, because the other 3,000 are not making videos, you only hear the ones that are. And you have to ask yourself why. I can't speak for them, I'm not them. I can only give my opinion on that. And my opinion on that is they messed up. This world right now is full of entitled people who do not take responsibility for their business. It's always somebody else's fault. Always somebody else's. And because it's always somebody else's fault, they are looking for support. They're looking for validation. They're looking for likes. And their plight of being the empty container. To give an example, I recently saw another video where this guy says that superego's a scam. He could not make money at superego, and superego was calling him, forcing him to drive. Now, I don't think like an entitled person. I don't think like somebody who believes it's everybody else's fault. I don't. I think like somebody who takes responsibility, somebody who is accountable for his own actions. So when I hear people say things like that, I apply my thought process. And my thought process says, you have a job as a truck driver. The description is in the name. Your job is to drive trucks. You are a truck driver. So if you are driving your truck, you're making money. You're fulfilling your job description. If you are not driving your truck, you're not. So this guy says superego was calling him and forcing him to drive his truck, and he was not making money. Now,
speed warning.
This guy does not look like an alien. He doesn't have 10 arms and 10 legs and 2 torsos and shit like that. So the first question that I ask myself is, well, if he's doing what he's supposed to do and he's driving, and they are calling him and forcing him to drive, what are they forcing him to drive? 2 trucks?
Speed warning.
Physically and literally impossible. One person can't drive 2 trucks. His truck? That makes more sense. Well, if you have to get a phone call to tell you to fulfill your job description as a truck driver, go drive your truck.
Speed warning.
Then that tells me that you are not driving. And if you are not driving, then to make the statement of I'm not making any money, that's kind of self-explanatory. To make money as a truck driver, you have to drive your truck. If you're not going to drive your truck, you're not going to make money. And the videos that I have seen, I watch with the same mentality. And to me, I don't want to insult people, but to me, it's just dumb. There's an expression, it's better to be thoughtful than to open your mouth and be proven. Every time I see one of these videos, in my opinion, in my interpretation, they should have kept their mouths closed because now they're proving themselves to be. Now, I do feel like there are a lot of people out there who do not understand the relationship or the correlation between the driver and superhero. So I want to touch on it. As I mentioned earlier, I work with Superhero. I do not work for Superhero. Superhero is not my employer. I don't know if you guys truly understand that. Because a lot of the complaints you see are based on an employer-employee relationship. No drivers work for Superhero. They work with Superhero. The difference? When you are a company driver, when you are an employee, your company tells you where to go, when to go, how to get there, and what they are going to pay you to do it. Alright? You want to take a vacation, you want to take time off, what do? You contact your employer and request permission to take time off. I don't have to do that. I don't work for Superhero. So then, what is my true relationship with Superhero? Okay. To explain that, I have to explain what an owner-operator is. An owner-operator is somebody who goes out, they buy their own truck, through financing, through cash, through whatever they get, they buy their own truck. They go out and buy their own trailer. Same thing. They get their LLCs, they get their EIN, state income tax number. They go out and get their DOT license. They go get the Operations Authority or the Motor Carrier license. They go out and get their insurance for the truck, for the trailer, for the cargo. And then they go find either a brokerage or a company they can direct contract to so they can get loans. And this is their responsibility. To do something like that realistically, your start out's going to be somewhere around $150,000 to $200,000. And it is going to take you roughly about 3 months before you can be in position to make your first dollar. If all goes well. It could take longer. If all goes well, it's going to take you about 3 months to take this. Okay, now with that, now you have all the stuff you need. You're making payments every month for your contract for those services, for everything you do. And now you are able to operate. That's an owner. Okay, the brokerage that you hire is going to call you to say, I've got this load going here, I've got this load going there. Which one do you want, or do you want either one of them? He's not going to call you to say, I got a load here, go pick it up. He's not your boss. He's not paying you. You are paying him. He's not your boss. You are paying him to provide you with a booking service. He's not your boss. So he calls you and he asks you. He doesn't call you and tell you. Very distinct difference between owner-operator and company driver or employee. Okay. So now that that is clear, what is the lease purchase? Well, the lease purchase is a program where they have taken everything the owner-operator has to do and put it in a nice little package with a bow for those people who don't have or don't want to go out there and spend $150,000, $200,000 to start up something they really know nothing about other than how to drive a truck. Not only have they packaged it up in a nice little box for you, they've even broken it down to where you have weekly payments. I call it a truck payment, but it's not just a truck payment. Every week you make payments to go towards the truck, you make payments to go towards the trailer, you make payments to go towards your ELD, you make payments to go towards your dispatch, which is the same as your brokerage. You make payments, and that's all wrapped up for you in a weekly payment. Okay? Unless you are requesting a brand new plastic on the seat truck, they even allow you to start this with no money down. But they have to guarantee their money. So you use them as your brokerage. You use their dispatch services. They dispatch the jobs, they get the jobs for you. And you are paid accordingly. Just like you would be from your brokerage. They take out their percentage, just like a brokerage would if you hired a brokerage, and they give you the rest. A lot of people confuse that percentage with the truck payment. Two separate things. As an owner-operator, if you hire a brokerage and that brokerage gets 20%, you can't go to Kenworth and say, I just paid 20% to my brokerage, that was my truck payment. Kenworth's going to say, who the hell are they? What's it got to do with me? So just because that is all in-house doesn't mean it's all the same thing. It just means that they were nice enough to package it for you. So with that said, as a lease purchaser, you are doing everything as an owner-operator. You are even buying your truck. Just like an owner-operator, you have brokerage fees, you have a truck payment, you have a trailer payment, you have insurance payments, you have payments for your ELD service, you have payments, you got to pay. Without these things, you can't work. No truck, kind of obvious. No insurance, ain't nobody gonna hire you. No broker, how you gonna get a job? Even to go to a load board and try to book yourself, still got to pay their fees. So to be able to operate, there's no getting around that. Just to make that clear up front, there's no getting around. Unless you want to go back to being an employee. Unless you want to go back to working for someone. I'd rather work with. I'd rather do what I want to do, run how I want to run, go where I want to go. with owner operator lease purchase is the way to go. You want to work for, that will be an employee. So now that that is cleared up, I think that is a huge misunderstanding in the industry. If you look at a lot of the complaints that people have, they complain like they're talking like they work for someone. You don't work for someone. Super ego is your boss. Super ego is your financer. And they're guaranteeing their finances by providing you with the services you need so that you can make your payments. That's all super ego is. Now for that, yeah, you drive a trailer with a great big logo on the side. Part of the package. Free advertisement. But you don't drive for. You're not their employee. They cannot call you and tell you what to do. Now, with that said, just like an owner-operator, if you don't make your truck payments, what happens? And people got those videos too. Super Ego came and got my truck. They didn't say nothing. You don't make your truck payment to Kenworth. They go and give you a hey, yo, I just want to let you know that tomorrow, about this time, we're going to have a tow truck over there to pick up your... No. They're going to go pick it up. You're going to wake up one morning and be very upset. And if you're entitled, you're going to make a video, and you're going to say, they came and got my truck, and they didn't give me any notice. I couldn't do this, and I couldn't do that, and they were mean to me. If you're entitled, and if you're responsible, if you take accountability for your actions, you're going to say, well, I fucked up. I wasn't making my truck payment. It was only a matter of time. Although if you're responsible and accountable, you'd be doing everything you can to make that truck payment. And if for some reason you fall short on one of your payments, make that phone call. Yo, I realize I got to pay you X amount of dollars this month. This month was a bad month. I can send you this much. Is there something we could do about the rest? Maybe put it towards the end. Maybe I can make payments on that to catch it back up. What can we do? They'll work with you. Just like Super Ego will. They'll work with you. Their goal is not to take your truck. Their goal was to sell your truck. You're the buyer. They want you to keep that truck. Their business is to sell vehicles. Their business is not to repossess vehicles. You're their buyer. They'll do what they can so you can keep the truck. But you have to be responsible. You have to be accountable. Now, with that said, there are some people out there who are being responsible, who are being accountable, who are still not able to make money. Why? Is it because Super Ego is a scam? No. It's because they don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're looking at. Super Ego, when you go and sign the contracts with them, they offer you an orientation class. It is taught by Alfred Hammer Down Manning. He has a bunch of videos online that explains his experiences when he was a driver, how he made his money, and how he got to where he is as an instructor. I saw his videos before I went to Super Ego. It was very informative. When I met him at the terminal, I was very impressed. He's not your average type guy. He's definitely not a schmoozer. He's not somebody who goes out there just to try to get people to like him and move up. Actually, he can care less what people think. But he does care about people. And he's seeing the same thing that I'm seeing. People are out there, they're doing a job, but they can't figure out how to make it. And with not being able to make money, either they don't know who to go to ask what they're doing wrong, they're too proud to admit they're doing wrong and they're not making money, or I don't know. But the bottom line is there are people out there that are not making money. So at that point, you have an option. Before I came to Super Ego, I did my investigations. Like I said, in doing the videos, all I saw were the empty barrels. People making noise. I can't make money in Super Ego. That's also how I ran into Alfredo Manning's videos. He's saying, look, I'm making money in Super Ego. And I'm like, why is he making all this money in Super Ego and these people aren't? Then I actually had to pay attention to what they were saying. And I'm like, okay, I know why they ain't making money. They're actually telling me why they ain't making money. They calling me to force me to drive. They're calling me to tell you to drive because they want you to make the trip. And obviously you ain't driving. So one way to make money, like I said, I talked to a lot of people. I ran into a guy out there in wasn't Nevada, out there in Utah, driving Super. I actually woke up, this is when I was still driving for a company. Woke up, went to use the bathroom, it was like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. He was standing outside the shop. I saw the Super Ego trailer. Started not to bother him, like it's 4 o'clock in the morning. But I said, fucking nothing from nothing leaves nothing, right? So I walked over and spoke to him. He said, you work for Super Ego? I'm like, yeah. What's up? So I started asking him questions. Long story short, admitted to me, this guy is not the smartest guy out there. He ain't the brightest bulb in the shop. He ain't the sharpest tack in the box. He's not. He says as far as self-looking or looking at any of that or knowing any of that, he don't know. He don't know it. He ain't trying to learn.
Speed warning.
His dispatcher says this is the job I got. He goes and does the job. He said doing that, I average $1,500 a week. The only time I make less is if I got to pay for repairs on my vehicle. Super Ego pays for it up front. They take it out of my check. But before they take it out of my check, again, what I make, it's an average $1,500 a week. That's what he told me. I'm thinking to myself, so if this guy, who admittedly is not the smartest guy in the world, and can just follow the program and do what the program says, can make $1,500 a week. What's the problem? I need to get over there. I'm not a dummy. I figured this stuff out. So if he can do $1,500 a week, not realizing or not knowing how to do nothing, how much can I really make? The question wasn't anymore about, can I make more? The question was, how much money can I make? You understand what I'm saying? You understand the difference? Okay, as super ego, once again, you don't work for, you work with. Your dispatcher will call you and they'll say, I have a load. Weighs so much, picks up on this day, drops off on that day, pays so much, etc. Or you have a load book. You call the dispatcher. I saw this load. I want this load.
Speed warning.
Book me this load. You know what he's going to do? He's going to book it for you. Why? Because he works for you. You pay him. He works for you. That's why he asked you. And that's when you call him and say, this is what I want. He says, okay, I'll get it. He works for you. Not the other way around. So, at this point, if you don't just want to trust your dispatcher and do what your dispatcher says, you have to know what you're looking at. What do all the numbers mean? Now, in orientation, Alfredo does a very extensive and a very detailed breakdown. I'm not that smart. Well, I am, but that's too much work. I broke it down to a very simple system, and I use round numbers. I use round figures. He broke it down to the exact dollar, the exact cent. Nah, I ain't gonna do all that. So, the best way I can explain it is to break down the job and at the same time show you the problem. Okay. So you see a job on a job board. Job pays $5,000. Picks up on Monday, delivers on Friday. So it takes up 5 days of your week. $5,000. That's $1,000 a day. Yes. But you haven't looked at any of the other numbers yet. That job is 3,000 miles. That job is 42,000 pounds. why does that come into play? Your average vehicle,
Steep downgrade
Again.
ahead. Speed warning.
your average vehicle, you're paying $500 for every 1,000 miles. If you're loaded light, empty. Loaded light means 5,000, 10,000, 15,000 miles. Your average vehicle, you're spending $500 for every 800 miles when you're loaded heavy. Loaded heavy, 35,000, 40,000, 45,000 miles. This load is 3,000 miles, 42,000 pounds. You're loaded heavy. 800 goes into 3,000. How many times? Well, 8 times 3 is 24. That's only 2,400 miles. You got to go 3,000. 8 times 4 is 32. So you got to fill up your truck 4 times. That's $2,000 off your trip.
Speed warning.
Before I continue, for every job you get, you also have your brokerage fee. Your brokerage fee is 25%. So when you're looking at $5,000, you're not really looking at $5,000. You're looking at $3,775. 25% is $1,125. Actually, no, it's not. It's $1,250. So 5,000 isn't 5,000. 5,000 is $3,700. Off that $3,750, you've already realized that $2,000 goes to fuel. That leaves you $1,750. You also have your truck payment, what I explained to you before. Your truck, your trailer, your insurance, yeah, all that stuff. And again, I use round numbers. I factor in my truck payment at $1,500 a week. Now, is it really $1,500 a week? No. It's 11 something, 12. I'd rather round up. That way, every check I get a surprise. Oh, look, I got a couple extra $100. So $1,500 a week. So you were down to $1,750. Subtract $1,500. So for that 5-day job, that $5,000, your take home was $250. There's 7 days in a week. Now you only got 2 days left to try to make some money. Otherwise, $250 is what you're taking home. If you happen to get a flat tire or something like that, there goes your $250. Remember, you are purchasing the equipment. You're not a company driver. You're not driving a company truck. You're driving your truck. You're driving your trailer.
Speed limit reduced ahead.
I see a lot of those videos too. Super Ego made me pay to fix my truck. Well, if you go to Kenworth and you buy a truck, and you go to the trailer shop and you buy a great dang trailer, and you driving from Fontana, California to New Mexico, and your trailer gets a flat tire, who fixes it? That's your truck. That's your trailer. Who fixes it? With lease purchase, that's your truck. That's your trailer. So you fix it. The difference, as an owner-operator, that initial repair comes out of your pocket. As a lease operator, it comes out of their pocket. And you just pay them back. Pretty nice of them. Because if you broke and you can't afford a tire, you can still deliver your load because they're going to fix it for you. So then you have to ask yourself, okay, so then what number is good? The dollar amount is not what makes it a good load or not a good load. It's the details of the load that make it a good load. So you got to sit down and you got to say to yourself, okay, this is a 3,000 mile load. This is 42,000 pounds. I already know I got to spend $2,000 in fuel. I know that this is a 5-day load, so it's going to take up my whole week. So my truck payment got to come out of here. Now I'm at $3,500. How much do I want to make, or how much am I trying to make this week? And then keep in mind, still got to pay 25%. So let's do the numbers at 6,000. Let's say that same job paid $6,000. 1,500 off the top. That's your 25%. That leaves you with 4,500. 2,000 of fuel leaves you at 2,500. Truck payment 1,500 leaves you at 1,000. Definitely better than $250 for 5 days. Is that enough? Some people can work with that. Do a couple quick day jobs, throw another $400, $500 on a check, and they're good with that. Some people want more. Me, myself, if I was trying to get somewhere, and I had a load like that, I would use it to set myself up for the next week. Under those conditions, I would do it. So, for example, let's say I got that load on a Wednesday and it delivered on a Monday. And that load was going to put me in Nevada. I know that I could do a couple quick jobs in and out of Nevada and California and make $500 a day. And then I also know I can get a job out of California that's going to run 1,000, 2,000 miles for $5,000. light loads. So for example, I get a load that's 15,000 pounds. That's going 2,000 miles for $5,000. I'm doing now 1,000 miles, $500 per 1,000 miles, $1,000 in gas. 25% goes to the broker. That leaves me $3,750 for gas, $2,750, $1,500 gone. For the truck payment, at least $1,750. It's almost $2,000. Wait, $1,250. At least $1,250. Is it worth it then? Yeah. All my bills are paid. Everything is covered. I'm still putting money. I'm still putting over $1,000 for that week in my pocket, and I still got a couple more days to make money. And I'm making a truck payment to buy my truck. Now, with you working as a company driver, were you taking home $1,000 a week? I was. 2 different companies. I wasn't. I saw gross payments every now and again over $1,000. Gross payment. I think the most I ever took home in 1 week was $960. Now, with that said, yeah, you still got taxes and taxes along with it. But now, damn near everything you do is tax deductible. I can't go in too deep on that because when it comes to taxes, I'm an idiot. And I admit it, I'm an idiot. I'm not ignorant, I'm an idiot. Ignorance is somebody who doesn't know. They just got to take the time to learn. I'm an idiot. I don't want to know. That's too much for me. I don't want to know. I'd rather go to somebody, here's $300 a month, $400 a month, $500 a month. You take care of this shit. I'm going to go worry about this over here. So I can't. I know at the end of the year, I got my accounting system that everything I do out of my account gets tracked in there. I download it to them, or they get it, or whatever. And at the end, oh, this is what your deductions are. This is what you end up paying, but I actually get this over here back. Oh, wait, I get money back. Cool. I don't know how to do it. So I can't begin to explain to you how I do it. Mr. Accountant, how much are you? Oh, okay, cool. Your monthly set? Okay, cool. Here's the check. That's how I do my taxes. It works. It works. So, back to the making of the money. You have to know what the numbers mean. You have to know what the numbers are going to do for you. If you don't know, and you only look at the big number, I'll give you an example. Let's say you want to do day runs. Day runs are paying $1,000 a trip, 400 miles. But $1,000 is a lot less than $6,000. Oh yeah, it is. But 400 miles. On $500, you're getting 1,000 miles, right? So 4.5 miles, $400 trips. That's 2.5 trips. $1,000 for 5 trips. Now I can do the individual breakdown. Maybe I'll do the individual. Okay, so pays $1,000, 25% goes to the brokerage. That means the load is actually paying $750. $750
Speed warning.
throw 253 gas, a half a tank. That leaves you 500. Now you got to make a truck payment, right? Okay. So at this point, you're averaging $500 a day. Your truck payment is $1,500. So 3 of those trips, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you make $1,500. Your truck payment is made. Now you've got Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. $500 a day. You just made $2,000 for the week. Provided they are all light loads. Now you go and take a short run, 400, 500 miles, and you're loaded 45,000 pounds. You know your take home is going to be less because your gas is going to be more. These are all numbers that need to be taken into consideration. Don't be sold on the big number. Oh, this run $5,000. That's $5,000. That's $5,000. That's $5,000. That's 5 racks. No, it's not. And to make money, you have to know how much money it really is. If you don't know how much money it really is, it could be $5. If you don't know what you're doing, you're not going to make your money. And if you don't know what you're doing, are you smart enough to admit that you don't know what you're doing? Let your dispatcher do it for you. Don't tell your dispatcher what you want. Let your dispatcher become an employee, even though he works for you. And let your dispatcher do it for you. All right. I think I've gone long enough on this. And any questions? Comment box. More than happy to answer your questions. With that, I'm going to say have a blessed day. Be safe out there. And I'll see you next time.